Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. And now I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, the president and CEO of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. Tonight's show is partnered with ADP, the go-to place to better build and manage your business. And of course, tonight we have another night of sharing, and we have another great special guest. And actually, he is a return guest, Mr. Chad Price. Chad Price is a seasoned serial entrepreneur and the founder of Kettlebell Kings, which he successfully transformed into a remarkable multi-million-dollar acquisition. His latest venture, Life Grows Green, disrupts hemp stereotypes. With a background in sports, Chad's passion permeates his work. His upcoming book, Preparing for Battle, draws upon his experience with Kettlebell Kings, covering a wide range of topics, such as developing a winning mindset, creating a solid business plan, building a strong team, and navigating the challenges of scaling a modern-day business. Geared towards aspiring entrepreneurs and minority-owned businesses, this book provides actionable insights for success in today's dynamic business world. Chad is confident that it will serve as a valuable resource for unlocking one's full potential and achieving success in today's fast-paced and ever-changing business landscape. So without further ado, please help me welcome back to my platform, Mr. Chad Price. Hey, Chad, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great today.
It is my pleasure. I always love bringing back people and hearing more great things about what's going on in your world. But before we dive into the book, because that is the main reason why I really wanted you to come back, because I know you got something great going on, tell us a little bit more about who Chad Price really is.
Sure. I think when I try to think about myself, I obviously had to do it quite a bit to write the book and try to kind of culminate my journey, if you will. I think looking back at things after selling the company, we went on a 10-year journey with Kettlebell Kings, and going through that acquisition really helped me put things in perspective. I've had kind of a long experience my entire life of playing on competitive teams and being a part of different organizations, but especially my athletic organizations that taught me a lot of lessons and concepts about how to work with groups of people to achieve things that we can't achieve as individuals. Mm-hmm. And I think, sort of instinctually, I picked a lot of that up and applied that to my business early on. And now I'm really trying to refine some of those thoughts and ideas and really kind of give that back to as many people that listen, and try to get people to understand that, I think no matter who you are as a person, you need to kind of develop the correct mindset to take on tough challenges. And so, I think that's kind of what I've helped identify in myself, is that's really what I like to do. Is I like to see tough challenges, and if it's someone that's got to take care of it, I almost want to volunteer for the job, just because I think life is a series of those types of challenges, and that's kind of what makes us stronger is going through those types of experiences.
Correct, exactly. Because even before you had Kettlebell Kings, you actually worked in the corporate arena for quite some time. Talk a little bit about that. Give us a little backstory on that and how it really did motivate you into moving forward on your own.
Well, when you graduate college, I think everyone's in a similar situation where, there's the fortunate few who know exactly what they want to do and they go right into their career. And then there's, most of us who are kind of just trying to fill things out. And, like everyone else, I was trying to fill things out, trying to find a good paying job. That was really hard in 2008, 2007, 2008 when I graduated. But long story short, all those experiences, even the low paying jobs from me, finding a better job and then a better job, all of that helped kind of hone the skills that I ended up developing over time to prepare for entrepreneurship. So, I've worked a $12 an hour job. I've worked a, $50 an hour job. That's going to give me different perspectives and help me prepare myself for talking and associating with those people on the teams that I then develop inside of my company. But also, when I'm working with a different corporation or a vendor, I understand, based on their business size and the dynamic of their interactions, I understand a lot better what they are capable of doing, what they aren't capable of doing. So, I think having that kind of self-awareness to just learn really in any kind of setting that you're currently in is the most important part. And that's really what I tried to do in corporate America. Everything was just, like, what position do you need me to play on this team for now? Mm-hmm. I never saw anything as something that I was going to take on for, the rest of my life. It was always, in preparation for something bigger and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can definitely tell with your conversation that you have been in the competitive world, in the sports arena. So, the way you talk as a team player, even though we've heard that word a lot, you use it in a different mannerism. And I think that's what makes you stand out even more. So, talk a little bit about the mindset, because you said earlier on that mindset is what makes you pretty much who you are and how you become successful. Why is that so important? And what do you do differently than you think most other people have done or could do differently?
Well, I think sports prepares you for overcoming loss quite a bit better than, let's say, normal life does. In sports, you have to put quite a bit of energy and effort into preparing yourself for the competitive events, especially if you're playing on a competitive level, you're trying to go and, have aspirations to play in college or professionally. You're going to have to put a lot of time and effort, and it doesn't always work out. And mm-hmm. when it doesn't work out, are you going to go back out there that next day? I think that kind of how many times can you get knocked down and get back up type of mentality is very useful in business. I think mm-hmm. you don't know what you don't know when you start a company. You definitely don't know what you don't know when you're 20, 21, 22 years old coming out of college. So you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're facing a challenge for the first time, or you're facing circumstances that you never had foreseen, and having kind of the mindset to, I don't care what's put in front of me. I'm still going to get up the next day and try my best. I don't care if I lose, last week, I can still do better this week. Having that kind of quick reset on your memory to kind of put your losses behind you and learn the lessons and move forward, but then also to compete on a daily basis. All of that came from my sports background, and mm-hmm. you develop that almost naturally when you play sports, because if you don't, you will be demoralized. I lost a bunch of games that could have ruined seasons, right. But that's just not the mindset that you have when you're playing on a competitive level.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you're right. Being in sports, it's going to make or break you one way or the other. But, like I said, it's a process of anything that you do. And you've taken that process and you've, taken those pieces and you brought it together to build a multi-million-dollar acquisition of Kettlebell Kings. And of course, then you sold that. And so then you open up another business. Talk a little bit about Life Grows Green. You said it disrupts the hemp stereotypes. What does that mean?
Well, I think, one of the things I learned on the journey with Kettlebell Kings is that I wasn't really able to reach as many people I wanted kind of in the natural lifestyle product space. Mm-hmm. So health and wellness was really big for me. When I started the company, I didn't even realize how much of a passion I would have for it. But seeing people actually transform their lives and live a better life because of a company that I founded or even associated with genuinely drives me to make better products and kind of make better content and just, overall better brand in general. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't able to necessarily do everything I wanted to do under the flag, quote unquote, Kettlebell Kings. So Life Grows Green to me is a bigger vision that I have of people who appreciate lifestyle products that are made from nature rather than, let's say, pharmaceutical or chemical or commercial ways. Mm-hmm. So, if we can make a natural product replace something that has potential harm or danger for you, I think that's always a positive solution in our society because of, the capitalization of America, or however you want to look at the reasoning behind why we kind of lean towards the cheaper, more toxic option a lot of times.
Right.
I think it has a lot to do with misinformation. And to me, brands have the ability to build trust where you don't have to be an expert to necessarily trust a brand. And I think there's becoming more and more brands like that actually stand for a value that people can rally around. And we were able to achieve that in the kettlebell community. And I'd like to be able to achieve that in the natural lifestyle product space.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely trust is important because you're right. When you have a lot of these products that are out, they sound great. Then all of a sudden you start to hear all these million other little things behind saying, well, this is going to affect this and this is going to affect that. It's like, wait a minute, why do you want me to take this again? It's
exactly
right. So it's amazing that you have so many products. I mean, like I said, it's the cheap way. It's the quick version. It may help you temporarily, but then there's always something else you have to worry about. So it's great that we're seeing more and more products that come out that are natural. They are what they truly call organic. The terms I did not hear coming up as a kid. There was no such thing as organic because everything that we had truly came from the ground. We ate it. We didn't have to worry about the chemicals. I didn't have to worry about, the vegetables turning brown 2 days after you bought them, those types of things. So it's great that people are trying to get back to that natural earthiness of what we need to have for our bodies, because that's what's most important to keep us healthy and whole. And the way that you're doing it obviously is a proper way of doing it, and learning it through all the things that you've accomplished, I think is what's even more important, because with you being very athletic and competitive, it made you even think a little bit more about how you service your body and then how it can also help others, all the way through with the Kettlebell Kings, product. And then now you have this new product. But let's talk about this book, because the last time we met, you were in preparation of getting the book out, and now this book is out. So talk about preparing us for battle, because I can't wait to hear about it.
Sure. The journey to kind of write the book started, even before I started my first company. I've always thought about, writing a book, but I never really knew, what do people want to hear from me? I even had the aspirations to write science fiction and things like that, but that would be another topic, another show. But in this particular book, I came to that milestone with the sale of the company, and, looking back at my life and that kind of experience that I went through, it really...
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It was somewhat nostalgic, and looking back, that this was a long journey. This was 10 years of my life. Mm-hmm. This was something that, I went to college to try to prepare myself for. When I was in college, I was thinking okay, I need to get smarter and, make the right connections and do everything that I can to put myself in a position to have a company like this. Mm-hmm. And culminating that journey really, kind of brought it home, and I was able to kind of sit back, work with an editor, and really put out a piece of content that I thought captured my business experience and also gave people some understanding of how I got to some of the concepts that actually helped me in business and why I think the way I think. You know, I don't think there's one right strategy to any particular situation. But I think understanding who you are and knowing how to use your experiences to your benefit. So learning from those experiences and actually applying those lessons later in life, I think is the bigger thing. And we all have, you know, I'm sure you have lessons that you've learned the hard way that I didn't have, you know, to go through, but that can help you moving forward. And I just try to really, you know, in the book, I try to prepare everyone to take advantage of those types of experiences that they had to prepare themselves for their entrepreneurial success.
Yeah, and I like when I read your bio that you talk about a solid business plan. That seems to be a fight for some people. They're like, I don't want to do a business plan, or I don't have it, I don't know how to do it. Talk about your perception and your thought process of what a business plan is.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people get intimidated by the idea of a business plan. And to me, it's not something that needs to be intimidating, especially now that you have AI. Like it's easy now compared to post-internet. I mean, pre-internet, if you will, right? Like if you're talking about having to write a business plan in 1995, that's a different experience.
Absolutely, been there.
You have all. Yeah, well, there you go. So you have all of the tools now, especially is really mapping out your vision and your ideas. And I think you're going to have to work on teams, and you're going to have to communicate what's in your head to other individuals. So a business plan to me is just the first opportunity that you actually get to practice doing that. And that is uncomfortable for most people to do. You don't do that on a regular basis. It is kind of like you telling, okay, how do I want my perfect child to act? How do I want, you know, my ultimate vehicle to perform? It's like it's a personal experience because you're telling a little bit about yourself in there as well. But I think that's the good thing about formulating a clear business plan. It allows everyone to see your passion for it and why it means something to you, so that it is taken serious. So before the business exists, what are we talking about? Like, everyone has a different idea of what this word that you've created as your brand is, but without something that we can formally look at together and objectively observe from our different perspectives and ask questions about, we're not really talking about the same company. So to me, that's just the starting point for getting everybody on the same page to say, okay, this is what we're doing here. This is the reason why we're here. This is the structure in which we're going to go about trying to achieve whatever it is we're trying to achieve in this business, right?
Absolutely. And you're right. It gives people the opportunity to listen, to learn, but then also give you pointers of, you know, is this really what we want for the people? Is this really the direction that we are going to take? Even though we know at the end of the day, yes, you get to make the final decision. But what people don't understand is that a business plan is not just for today. It's for every step of the way that you're improving and making those moves in that business. And I think that's the problem with most people when they hear business plan, it becomes foreign to them, you know. And even though, like you said, the tools are much more available today, because when I did my plans back in the early 90s, you know, it was getting books, you know, sitting down, talking to people, you know, doing interviews. I actually trained people how to, you know, prepare for business plans, you know, and people didn't even know what a library was back in the day, you know, and most of them don't know what it is today either, because they don't have to go to the library. But, you know, it's those little things that we think that we don't think that are important are usually the most important, because when you're sitting down and thinking about a plan, it's not just as much as just the idea. It's about also the cost. You know, where are you at financially? Are you prepared? What are you going to need to make this business, you know, just to even be a startup business, and not even thinking about where am I going to be a year from now? Where are you really at today? And it's amazing how many people don't have a clue how much money they have in their pocket or in their savings per se, how much they think they're going to need for the business. You know, all these little things that they should be focused on. They're not, because they're so focused on the idea. And I get it, because we all realize that, we can't do everything, but that's the whole purpose of having that plan too, is that you start to realize that you cannot do everything, and there's other people you have to put in those places to ensure that the business becomes successful, right? So like you said, it's a team. There is no I in team, it's all we. And yes, even though you are the creator, there's so many other pieces that come with that. So I wanted to jump into that conversation because I think it's great to hear from you being, the generation of the day, and you're the one out here doing it today, and you're doing it differently than what I had done it 20 years ago or anybody had done it. But it's a starting point, and that starting point will continue to grow. So in your book, though, talk about some of the other, give us a few more, I call them peak nuggets, but give us some nuggets about what you think is most important to share with our listeners today about your book as well.
I think there's a lot of things. I try to break it down into 10, the 10 building blocks of business, but you're right, you can have 50 building blocks of business. I just try to section it off in a way that that people can conceptually try to at least understand some of the topics. So, taking advantage of digital tools and things like that. For example, I fortunately was around for the birth of Facebook, right? So when Facebook first came out, I remember it just came out and I got a profile. And so I look at that algorithm through a different lens than I think a lot of people do, especially people who didn't go through it. And I had aspirations for business at that time, so I didn't see that as, oh, this is a great social tool for me to use and have fun on. I saw that as, holy crap, we're going to be able to advertise directly to people and segment them, and how you can build lists from this. And then I was actually able to go do that with my company. But that's because I was literally studying it without even knowing it, just because I wanted to be that type of individual in the future. I wanted to be a business professional before I came to college. And while a lot of people maybe were looking at these type of applications for personal use and recreational use, I always was looking for the business angle of how I would utilize these types of things. So someone else is, I'm literally like, you're having fun on there. I'm trying to see how you're going to be my customer in the future.
Right.
I think young entrepreneurs, or even aspiring entrepreneurs, if you're currently working in a job and you want to transition, I think you have to start thinking that way about everything. I think there's so many ways to reach people and to reach customers and to make a difference. We talked about AI, somewhat in terms of helping you with a business plan, but there's, AI is very similar to like social media in 2002. It's just beginning the things and tools that you can utilize from combining your actual knowledge with a tool like AI is incomparable to what you can do without it. So I try to encourage people to prepare themselves in the book for situations like this. So, social media was my particular situation and my moment to grasp kind of the wave as it's building. But there's always something new that's going on. And when you're in that space where you really want to do something, or you really have a passion about doing something, coupling that with whatever's trending, whatever's going on, whatever operational tools are needed to achieve your goal is going to be the key to success. A lot of businesses die out just because they have a good product or a good brand, but they're not able to connect everything like they need to compete on a modern business playing field. And that's where I try to get people in with the book is, don't use my assessment, your assessment. Go study the market, find out the most competitive tools that are out there, what are your competitors using, and actually try to physically compete with them. And if you do that and you have a good product, most of the times you'll come out on top, or somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and you're right. And it's funny when you talk about Facebook, because you're right. When it first came out, everybody that's like, oh, this is something fun, this is something new. I was terrified by Facebook when it first came out. I'm like, I don't want to do this. It took me a long time to want to put my personal,
I remember that.
Self out there. And I think that was a thing that I seen that was so important. I was like, oh my God, people are sharing everything. And it gets to the point where some people share too much, right? And then it no longer becomes a valuable tool. People can use it for all the wrong reasons. So when you start to talk about it and link it into the business side of it, it really took a toll on me, because I kept thinking, okay, how do I stand out differently? Like you were talking about, how do we make this work beneficially as a business. I don't particularly care so much about the other side of it. Yeah, every now and then it's cool. Yeah, we'll put some pictures out there. It's a great way to connect with your family and friends. But I said there's got to be something more important to do with this. And then once it seemed like everybody figured it out, or the algorithms kept changing, it was no longer that the better fix. Then of course, now you've got the Instagrams, you got the well, it's no longer Twitter, X or whatever they call it. You have LinkedIn, you have all these different resources and these different apps that you're now even being more competitive with when it comes to your business. So when it comes to the social side of the apps, or these that people still don't really understand why it's so important to utilize as a part of your business. I think you absolutely hit it on the head that it is a must. It is something that you need to research. It is things that you have to align with your business so that you can. A big thing I think that people need to understand, it's a bigger and further reach. A farther reach than what you could do if you're actually sitting in front of somebody, even as well as us sitting here and having this conversation on a podcast. The podcast, it's great that you're sharing with your friends, but people don't realize that this podcast is globally. So you're reaching more and more people further out. But a part of that as well is the reciprocation. And I think that's the other tool that people don't understand, is that it's great to have these things, but who are you reaching to share? Why do you want people to know? All those pieces that come with it. So it was definitely a learning process for me, and the generations today, the way you guys use it, it's just a part of your everyday life, so it's good that you're providing that type of resource and information in your book.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere, for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back. And we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Yeah, and there was no way for me to know exactly how to take advantage of social media when, let's say I first graduated high school. Mm-hmm. I was, still just as naive as anyone else. But I think I had the mindset that, okay, what tools or what experiences will I need to achieve high-level business success in the future? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking that way for maybe my whole life. But mm-hmm. if I'm trying to say, okay, I'm trying to be honest and say, okay, well, when did I formally first have this idea? It was definitely, 13, 14 years old once mm-hmm. I realized, okay, I'm in high school. I'm trying to earn a scholarship. What type of scholarship do I want to earn? And I started looking at the world through, okay, well, what role am I going to play? What is this? What are the kind of the values and the mm-hmm. lessons I need to learn in order to fulfill whatever role it was? If I was going to be, the president of the school, then what does that entail? Right. So I just went out in search of these types of things, and the experience that I got along the way just helps me kind of build up that level of perseverance that's needed, because it's almost like I've tried so many different things. I failed 1,000 times before. What's 1,001? Mm-hmm. I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. And I think just helping people get past that initial fear. Mm-hmm. One of the terms I use is like, you got to kind of live in the light when you want to be an entrepreneur. I think even when you're talking about the business plans, you not wanting to formalize it or write it down. Well, I think part of that is because you know it's going to somewhat get criticized, and it's not going to be exactly what you think it in your head, and it's going to feel better than it looks on the paper.
Right.
That's part of the process, and not ignoring that, but leaning towards that and saying, no, I want you guys to evaluate it. I need feedback from not just my friends and family, but from 5,000 people if possible.
Right.
That is more helpful for a business mindset because you're going to learn and actually improve and be able to take those specific insights that then now you have real knowledge and, you have real world tests that you've ran. You can take that and apply it to really change your company or make some money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you definitely have been on the right track as, at 13, thinking about how can I, be better at this and, what can I do to be this best business person? Your mindset was absolutely already there. You weren't your typical 13-year-old, like I said, it's not that you didn't have fun or didn't want to be like everybody else to a certain degree, but you were already challenging yourself. You were already being competitive with yourself. And then, you took that competitiveness and you ran with it ever since. So, congratulations and kudos to you because you are definitely doing it and you definitely have to keep patting yourself on the back for what you're doing and what you're showing others. So, talk to me and the listeners about where they can find the book and if you have any events coming up that we need to be checking out for.
Sure. The book is available on Amazon now in hardback, paperback, and ebook. You can also, if you're looking to find out more information about me, you can find me on chadprice.com. I'm on all the social channels, Real Chad Price, LinkedIn Chad Price. But I'm also doing presentations and workshops and things like that right now as well. So if you're interested in something like that, kind of reach out to me, contact me. I actually have one coming up this Monday at Rice. I'm doing one for kind of the career development week there. So I'm excited about not just the book itself and the content that I put into the book, but kind of giving back and speaking to people, answering questions and doing presentations and workshops to help people who were or may be kind of in my position that I was when I was starting my business.
All right. Well, hey, you guys have heard it all here. And Chad, that is wonderful. And definitely, I'm going to keep track of you. I am one of your followers. So, don't worry. I'm not being creepy or anything. But I do follow you, on Instagram and so forth to see how things are going with you and keeping an eye. And, hey, and if you have anything else that you definitely would like to come back and share with me, within the next year or two, please reach out. I'm always in touch with Diana. She keeps me busy. So one of your business people there. So, but yes, but
yeah,
again,
no worries at all. And, it was great. It was great for you having me on again. And I really appreciate, talking to your listeners about kind of my journey and any help that I can kind of give back to people. I think I genuinely have a kind of a passion for that. So it's always good to, express, what helped me get through certain situations and what maybe can prevent some people from a little heartache in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate you and we all appreciate the time that you've given us this evening because I know you are extremely busy. So again, like I said, thank you for coming on tonight and we will be talking to you in the future.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right. So for everyone else, I hope that you have paid attention to tonight's show. It's all about preparing for the battle. That is what our guest has said for us tonight with Chad. And, please support him. Get his book. I think that you guys will all enjoy the experience and understanding the thought process of what it means to try to navigate yourself through starting a business. And that's what we do. This is how we have learned in becoming business people is understanding our own strategies and sharing those strategies with other people. And I think that's the most important part that people need to truly understand when it comes to being in business. But of course, the big part of it is truly taking the time that you need to be successful. It's not about how quickly you do it. It's about really, truly being patient, understanding that business takes time. And if you're willing to put in that time and effort, and if you're willing to be competitive, you're going to be a success. But of course, if you would like to have more information directly, hey, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at any time at Kimberly at WSBILC@gmail.com. And let's chat about your dreams and let's turn those dreams into goals. And of course, if you want more of your resource for success, monetary donations to support the podcast are now accepted. right here on Cash App, PayPal, Good Pods Tip Jar, or you can go directly to the website at www.wsbilc.com. And of course, if you want to learn more about our partnership with ADP and you want to know more about what they do, you can learn how to better leverage your business with ADP, which they have identified, 5 primary challenges on hiring, financing, access to growth resources, employee experience, and access to payroll and HR tools. And of course, educating yourself on what's best for your business is always free. So please reach out to us, and you can reach out and learn from my contact, our ADP rep, who is Antonia Nuez Samanigo. I'll make sure that we have her information in the show notes, and she can share all the information about ADP. We're also are looking to provide some free question and answer programs available for you all. So please don't be afraid to ask questions when it comes to business. And of course, again, we'd like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. We'll be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcast. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.